Thanks so much for coming tonight. This is a special evening for North Carolina Wesleyan University. We're grateful to have you here. It is a beautiful evening out on campus. Please go ahead. If folks were waiting to get seated, I wanted to come in. The campus is bathed in really an amazing golden light, and it's appropriate this evening. The campus looks so beautiful. The Jefferson Pilot Professorship is an endowed award established in 1981 through the generosity of the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. It is the highest and most singular honor that North Carolina Wesleyan University bestows upon a member of its faculty. The honoree is nominated by a committee of faculty and appointed by the president. Those eligible to receive this award are tenured members of the faculty who have clearly distinguished themselves in ways that set high standards of excellence to which the whole community can aspire. As teachers, they demonstrate a wholehearted dedication and rigorous professionalism in forwarding their students' learning and personal development for life and work. As scholars, they possess a mastery of their discipline, contribute to new understanding and knowledge, and demonstrate a lively commitment to lifelong liberal learning for themselves as well as their students. As members of the Wesleyan community, they give unstintingly to the aims and programs of the university, both with their time and means. Portraits of Jefferson Pilot professors are displayed in the lobby of the Braswell Administration Building, and North Carolina Wesleyan is privileged to have such a faculty and honors them with great pride. Tonight, it's my distinct honor to introduce the 2023 Jefferson Pilot Professor. Dr. Patricia Brewer certainly lives up to the mission and criteria which we have just heard. Throughout her career, she has been committed to offering a message of hope and empowerment to her students and to her students' students, and even to her students' families, and their communities. Too often, we focus solely on the content of what we teach. And while content surely matters, it is so often the confidence that this content generates that makes our education the active and transformational force it can be in our students' lives. We share content with our students so they can be confident in what they know, but also humble in recognizing what they have left to learn. It is true that we provide them with skills and with tools, but just as importantly, with the confidence that they know how to use them. We provide them with strategies for solving problems, but just as importantly, with the empathy that they will need to listen carefully and to understand how those problems are affecting the lives of those whom they would hope to help. Our 2023 Jefferson Pilot Professor has, for more than 20 years, provided a very special education to both her students and her students' students that embodies this commitment to the power of confidence, of humility, of empathy, and hope on many different and distinct levels. The fierce urgency that she brings to her work reflects her commitment to the idea that every teacher should be prepared to reach every student, to meet them where they are, to understand who they can be, and to prepare them for success that exceeds expectation. Dr. Patricia Brewer earned her BS and MAd from North Carolina Central University, an MA from Eastern Carolina University, and a PhD from the University of Southern Illinois. She began her teaching career at the O'Beary Center in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and spent 1 year providing educational services at the Western Correctional Center in Morgantown, North Carolina. She served in a variety of instructional and administrative roles in K-12 education in Edgewood County, North Carolina, Bracewood, Georgia, Pitt County, North Carolina, Lenoir County, North Carolina, and Wayne County, North Carolina. In 2004, she came to serve on the faculty here at North Carolina Wesleyan, where she has taught courses in both pedagogy and administration, designed and launched the major in special education, and founded the award-winning Students Helping Students After School program. I've had the experience of seeing her working with her students in a meeting of the award-winning After School program, and I highly recommend that you visit someday if you've never done so. It is a wonder to see how effective she provides our Wesleyan's students with the opportunity to work with their students in an atmosphere that is only a little short of miraculous. It is clear that students who have long been told what they can't do are energized and transformed by being helped on a one-on-one basis by people who focus on what they can do and what they will do. and providing our students with the opportunity to make such a difference in the lives of their students and their students' families. She makes it possible for them to develop confidence that they will need in the teaching careers they will pursue. Dr. Brewer is a member of the Council for Exceptional Children, the North Carolina Association of Educators, an advisor in the North Carolina Association of Educators, and member of the Division of International Conference of Special Education Services. In addition to the 2023 Jefferson Pilot Professorship, she has been honored with numerous awards, including the Leslie H. and Evelyn G. Garner Faculty Leadership Award, the Malden Faculty and Staff Professional Development Award, the Service Award from North Carolina Wesleyan College for her contributions to the university's mission and community with the award-winning Students Helping Students After School program for special needs children, the Dale and Nancy Holderness Professorship in Public Education Award, at least 3 times, I think. The Distinguished Service Award from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, Division of Exceptional Children. The Wesleyan Exemplary Teaching Award from the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry of the United Methodist Church. And her Students Helping Students After School program earned the designation of award-winning from the North National Education Association and the North Carolina Student Association of Educators in 2015. In 2010, she was promoted to associate professor, and in 2023, she will assume the mantle of full professor on our faculty. She has been entrusted by her colleagues on the North Carolina Wesleyan faculty with many committee and task force duties, including stints on the personnel and general education committees, the BIPOC task force, and being elected to serve as chair of the faculty council for the upcoming 2023-2024 academic year. Dr. Brewer has spoken and presented widely on her work in the pedagogies of higher education, and a full listing of her work would take us some time, but most recently, her paper, Parents to Teachers, Collaborative Empowerment with Families, has been accepted for the 2023 DIS's International Roundtable in Bangalore, India. But most importantly, Dr. Brewer has steadfastly and consistently devoted herself to the work of making her students better, her students better, and our community better. There can be no doubt that we live in a time of difficulty and transition in North Carolina's K-12 school systems. But Dr. Brewer is unsparing in her assessment of what we can do better, undeterred in her efforts to make things better, and always aspiring to provide a quality education to all of our students and all of their students. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Dr. Patricia Brewer to deliver the 2023 Jefferson Pilot Lecture.
I didn't have a pocket. It's good. It's just like fishing.
What old are you eat?
Is it still there? Yeah, okay. No.
Good evening. I'm extremely honored and pleased to be here this evening among all of you. But before we get started, there is something I want to do special. When I was asked whether or not if I want to do a profile in the decree in October, I said yes. That's our school paper. And in that I laid out and I talked about my family. But the most important person that I referenced was my mom. And in there, I noted that my mom only had a 7th grade education. But she believed in education. And she supported, and she nurtured, and she helped me. So my colleagues, I'm going to ask you if you would just indulge with me for 7 seconds. I want to pay a tribute to my mother for those 7 seconds. And I'm going to ask my family members who are here, if you'll be so kind, and stand with me. I think there's 7, I lost count. Oops. I'm being cute in these shoes tonight. All right, the name of my topic is transformative teaching. The what, where, why, and how. Service learning, pedagogy, impacts culturally diverse populations. I'm excited to talk about this topic because service learning is my heart. Let's speak to transformative teaching. Exactly what are we referencing? It's based on the idea that an instructor's purpose is greater than delivery of information. What's your purpose? In essence, we are more than a person who is academically oriented inside the classroom, but we recognize those shared values and beliefs beyond the classroom. So as we look at this framework to transformative teaching, there are 3 areas that I truly, and Dr. Lane, I must say, you did well with that. Extend, enhance, and engage. And that is my heart because there are many things that I did and I strongly encourage where I had to extend myself. I had to enhance what I did not know. And I truly had to engage in many things to get the outcomes that I wanted. My compelling purpose and why. My compelling purpose is to simply serve. Because I realize when I serve mankind, I'm serving God's people. So I enjoy what I'm doing. I like the purpose in the sense that I recognize that every child needs the best of every professional who is providing a service to him. I believe every child can learn. I believe that we have a responsibility to unlock the doors, and wherever and whatever we need to do to unlock that door, we need to do just that. As we look at this framework, I say this is Brewer 2022, my research. And I give credit to some of the others because I did read and we kind of were very complimentary. And we would elaborate these further on into the message. But the areas that I want to concentrate on as we proceed through, we're looking at vision, we're looking at, oh, that's right, I forgot this little button here works. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew there was a click here. All right, there is vision, there is intentionality, there is guidance and modeling, learning outcomes, motivation, encouragement, and reflection. Because anytime you want to maximize your purpose in the classroom, you're going to have some of those framework components. Teaching and conditions for learning, will be explored as we reference these components. But what we also realizing, there are a lot of students who seem to have student disengagement. This is an article that I found that I thought was really nice. And it referenced, if you will allow me, I'm trying to get to that little red button. There we go. A new survey by by Wiley finds that 1/4 of students said they would be more invested in their courses if they learned in a way that emulated their future careers. That says a lot. And the national survey also complimented what Wiley did there. In this chart here of those disengaged students across the country and with the survey, it seems as though that more than 55% of undergraduate students have a lack of interest in their coursework. And on the graduate level, it appears as though there may be 38%. Okay, why do they have this lack of interest? All right, we looked at several things here. We looked at feelings of hopelessness, coursework relevancy, real-life connections, and motivation. It appears as though that some students have a great lot of despair. They seem to lack a passion and understanding of what is being done because they don't feel that there is any kind of relevancy in their coursework. And they don't understand what is the real life connection in your class for me to have that passion that I may need. Now this is my heart. We come into service learning pedagogy. Great couple of definitions here. But I just want to highlight the bottom part of here. Students apply academic knowledge and critical thinking skills to address genuine community needs. Service learning. On a federal level, this Trust Act noticed that service learning combines service to the community with student learning in a way that improves both the student and the community. So in other words, this greater purpose that we seem to have as a teacher, that we understand that yes, academics matter, but at the same time there must be shared values outside and beyond the classroom, because we have to look at the student holistically. Here I just want to share with you this statement that was made by several researchers, and by the way, I purchased that book. Service learning pedagogy helps faculty to facilitate student development while applying disciplinary knowledge. So regardless of what content, what discipline you serve, you can also provide service learning in that area. These are a couple of articles here that I would challenge you to look at. Teaching for positive and transformational creativity, teaching strategies for enhancing students' learning. Does the group matter? And that will come in an article later. Facilitating service learning through competencies associated with relational pedagogy. Professional staff making a difference, and cultural change in higher ed. And last but not least, understanding how service learning pedagogy impacts student learning objectives. So we as faculty members, we have those learning objectives. How can they be impactful? Let's take a look at service learning a little bit closer. It's a tool that is used for teaching and learning. So we can learn a whole lot in service learning projects. Critical thinking, decision making, working as a team, and it goes on and on. Also provides employment skills and opportunity for kids to grow and to develop. Service learning opportunities are complementary to any curriculum. As stated earlier, any coursework indeed can embed service learning. And personally, I think service learning is a necessary tool in the curriculum because we have students more engaged outside the academic arena if they're engaged in activities that they think will reflect positively on them or it has some impact. Well, where should all this take place, Dr. Brewer? Well, I think higher education is a great place for it to take place. It's more than a place of academic achievement. We think Western is one of the best universities in the country. I was waiting. Come on, faculty members, work with me. I'm giving us a nudge, academic achievement. And because of that, we also have a responsibility to share goals of citizenship and student engagement beyond the classroom. For me to say this, let's take a look at what the other universities are doing and what they're teaching paradigms. Hey, let's look at Western first. It's a private institution. I'm just reading what's in yellow because I don't want to insult anybody here. Responsible to participation in their communities. Wesley, that's Wesley. High Point, cultivating the values, knowledge, mindset, and skills necessary to thrive in a competitive and rapidly changing world. That's High Point. I guess we call that big sister. Then we got Barton, we call that little brother. Service to their local and global communities. You see how everybody got that shared component in there? And then Elon, I guess that'd be a big sister. Intellectual community characterized by active student engagement. I guess the premise of all of these is the fact that they speak to shared beliefs, shared values, working with the community, developing citizenship beyond the academic aspects in the classroom. Now, what can they do to ensure this and in this critical role? Well, I think I was in a group and some of these were mentioned, and we came across several of these in our readings. The higher ed indeed can foster opportunities for curriculum alignment. How can you help me do what is being asked and what is being said here? How can, misspelled word, create an experiential portfolio? Incentives to promote active engagement, campus-wide celebrations, point system, and virtual participation in events. Those are simple a few that we can engage in higher education. Okay, how can we continue to expand upon that? We want to make sure we talk about being an inclusive environment where we are to engage everyone. But indeed, if we're going to be inclusive, then we got to make sure that we engage in all our students. As referenced earlier, there are many of our disciplines here who do have a service learning component, but there are some that don't. So how many students are not getting that impact if we were to reach out in all our coursework to ensure that there is a service component? Because we applaud all of those that we do have, because the kids are truly having great successes and making a name for themselves, as well as profiling North Carolina Wesleyan. Promote advocacy and support of all students. This is how this can be done. And to ensure, go back here, that inclusion and that support of advocacy of all students, let's look at some things that can be done. With the emphasis on cultural diversity, highly interactive fun learning activities, increased quality learning, increased mastery and understanding, increased retention. We're talking about teamwork, decision-making skills, personal and interpersonal development, and build relationships. I want to reference and talk about building relationships. I've been here nearly 20 years. Well, I think it'll be 20. They keep cheating me a year. But in those 20 years, I'm going to claim is that what I have learned about building relationships, okay, Dr. Pretty, going too fast, is that if we truly want to build relationships, we have to be extremely honest and true to ourselves. One thing that I read, and it really truly resonated with me because I can reflect on it on a personal level, that if you're going to build relationships, you have to make a conscientious effort to build that relationships. We can want all we want. We can talk about all these things we need, but unless we make a conscientious effort to make it happen, it won't happen. Because it takes time and it takes an investment. And personally, building relationships, I was here 9 years, alone, of color. And it took me a while to build relationships. So think about that. I was here 9 years, alone. It took me a minute to build relationships. because I'm not there yet. But it is my desire, my commitment to build those relationships and continue to make something great here at North Carolina Wesleyan, because this is a place that I have truly grown to love. Okay, in that article, it talked about cultural diversity. You know, sometimes when you hear cultural diversity, sometimes the feet kind of pull in. But let's make this a pleasant experience. What is cultural diversity? Well, when you just think of the word culture, it is simply, who are you? It is your identity. Diversity, we are simply what? Different. So how many different identities do we have? Just think about that for a minute. So when you look at it in that sense, it's embracing. What's your identity? Let's look at the next slide. I'm not going to ask you, but I just want you to reflect upon this, if you would. What's your makeup? Let's look at your cultures and your identities. Look at the first one. What is yours? Look at those that are there. I'm sure you fall in one or two areas. Are you? I'm sure you fall in a couple of those areas. And have you ever been? We have all that all over Wesleyan. We have that all over everywhere. But the idea is, once we recognize these different cultures and these different identities, if we make that conscientious effort to build those relationships, we can build something exactly out of this world here at Wesleyan by way of service learning and getting everybody involved. Now this is where I'm coming in. Teaching and conditions for learning, my vision, my intentionality, those are things that were expressed, and where educational ethnography research is, I had students disengagement there. But this time I'm going to share, and I'm excited to share with you a special service project that is doing outstanding things here at Wesleyan. Going back to those framework components, we're looking at the vision. So what is the shared vision? What are the beliefs? What are the values that this component seems to have? Intentionality, all those students in 202, psychology, professors, catch me if I'm wrong here. What is your purpose? What is your outcome? What do you plan to accomplish at the end? You should know what you want to do at the end, and did you meet them? That's the intentionality. Guidance, modeling. How much effort was given? Because we just don't learn on our own. Sometimes it takes demonstrations. Sometimes it takes modeling. But what are we doing here? And our learning outcomes, what are they? We started. Did you meet them? You defined them. Were they realized? Motivation. You know, again, we go back to that other one that spoke to hopelessness and despair. Motivation. How motivated were you to make sure those outcomes were done? To what extent did you explore and do some things to have those outcomes met? Truly, in the classroom, it is not easy, but it is an awesome experience when students are able to see what you see. And what I have come to understand is that my perception is not my students' perception. And in realizing and understanding that, I had to revisit quite a few things. And then always encouragement is needed. And as far as reflection is concerned, we have to always be reflective of the things that we do each and every day. I consider reflection as a professional developmental tool. When you are honest and when you are true to yourself, there is a great likelihood that you're going to be honest and true to all those you serve. All right, here are some things that I reference to that we do in this special program that we're talking about, and it's coming up in a minute. But it's an in-person qualitative research method that studies the actions of people or group. We looked at observations, interviews, testimonials, surveys, pictures, and action research. I knew that was coming, right? Award-winning. I'm sorry, oh man, I meant for that to slip up. All right, award-winning after-school program. Dr. Lang, you did an exceptional job bringing that in. All right, that was birth around 2015, vision and intentionality, going back to those major headings that was referenced in the framework. Those are the things there. We're not going to read all those to you, but I just want you to look at them. What we had to do to get where we are. That collaboration and partnership with others, that was essential. That individualized services for my special needs kids, that was important. Looking at what's worked and what doesn't work by way of pedagogy, that was real. Here, inclusive service to our aspiring pre-service educators, parents, and community stakeholders, because it indeed took a village to do the things that we have done. Allow education students to put theory to practice. In the books, it is theory, and when you actually go out there and do those things, it becomes real. Analyze and interpret data for instruction and provide research-based learning strategies and collaboration with parents. My parents are my biggest friends. I love them dearly, and I believe until we bring parents totally on board, we're going to continue to have some problems in the school system. Parents are the teachers, are the students' first teachers, and I believe they're with our parents, particularly the parents in this program. They are top dog. There are no parents better than these. Here a little fancy something that we put together. These were the things that we engaged with as far as documentation. We do progress monitoring. We do progress reports. They have to sign a contract, and then there are guided reflections. So each and every time students participate in the program once a week before they leave, there's like a mini conference they have to have with the parents, and they have to go over what the kids did that evening. That gives all students an opportunity to engage and work with parents, which make them better teachers once they become out there, because they have that experience already under their belt. And just like anything else, they got to have a commitment, so that's where the contract comes in. And as far as progress monitoring, we need to see whether or not those research strategies that are being employed indeed are working. So we're talking about guidance and modeling. Here you see a group of students, you see a group of parents, you see a principal, and you see several teachers. They're holding what we call an IEP meeting. So we have mock IEP meetings where all these individuals would come, and we would ask a principal from the outside to come and actually be the LEA rep. And we may ask another teacher from the outside to come and be the real special ed teacher, and we may get someone on the inside to be the other teacher, because we realize for these meetings they must be a regular ed and they must be a special ed along with the principal there. So they all come and they talk about their kids, and these parents are actually engaged. So you'll see quite a few pictures, so please engage me, and let's follow through this. What are the learning outcomes of all of those? If you see all that there, I'm not going to read it to you, but for the most part, you can understand exactly what the expectations are. But pre-service students will increase the passion and impact their lives of K-12 students using research-based pedagogy. What will my parents do? They will be able to do all these things. They learn how to navigate, ultimately, the system that their kids are in. And the community and the school stakeholders will actively engage with mentorships and professional development, because we engage everyone. How can you help us here in our particular program? Motivation and encouragement. At the end of each session, we all come together. After they have worked individually with students, we all come together and do some kind of an activity. And here we're all in the hallway up there in Braswell building, sitting on the floor, reading the book. But in reading, we are asking questions, and the students are answering them. So you see this shared activity where there's motivation, where there's encouragement, and at the same time, you see that student over there working with that, the pre-service student working with that student. What I tell my students and what stakeholders are always telling us, that the time that our kids spend with these students, it is more time they get in a whole week inside the classroom. with us 1 hour. Well, they have moved up to hour and a half. But they're with us an hour and a half, 1 day a week. But they get more time, one-to-one, with our students than they get the whole week with their teachers. Think about that. Just think about the impact that has on our students. Now, you're going to hear a couple of things here, and these are many reflections, but that's one of my beloved parents, and she's here tonight with her 2 kids, and she has a few things to say about this program. Let's see what she does.
My name is Jessica. I have 2 kids in the program, Nakaya and Janaya. We have been in the program for 8 years now. The benefits of the after-school program have provided my kids with confidence in the classroom through reading comprehension, homework, test-taking skills, and the ability to focus on planning for future educational goals. Each tutorer brings different skills and teaching techniques that meet each child's needs. As a parent, the program has helped me being an advocate for my kids at school and during IEP meetings. Planning for IEP meetings and understanding my kids' IEPs is much easier since attending the program. Parents also have tools and strategies to help further their kids' education and learning skills. Forever grateful for Dr. Brewer and her students.
Well, she was the longest one. Rest of them were short. This parent, I'm sorry, Miss Ritchie, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to hear you. See what you got to say.
I have 2 students. They're my grandchildren, Jaden and Alina. They have both been in the program for 7 years. The program has given them the sense of confidence, the ability to learn, to speak up if they need help or assistance with their work. They are able to tell the teachers where their issues are or where they're not grasping what needs to be grasped, which is a big help for them. During COVID Zoom learning, both of the tutors they had were excellent. They would go over their classwork. One would even go into the class assignments that they had on their computers, and they would sit and read the assignments. They would go over reading materials with them and helping them with their reading. The other had math problems, and he would bring out the whiteboard, and they would sit and go through the problems one by one, giving them each the confidence to go back to class the next day and be able to have the ability to get the work completed. Alina has also been able to pull up her class assignments and her grades, which is making her a more confident person today. The program has helped me in so many ways with being an advocate, with going to their IEP meetings and understanding what they have the abilities to have for them and making sure that each of them are having their needs met. With the activities and the plan with the school, he has accelerated and grown so many ways, and he's on his way to being a success for an independent life. I want to thank Dr. Brewer and all of her tutors for their warmth, the ability to convey that to them so they understand that they're all here as one to help.
And I need to make an apology here. Mrs. Ritchie has 2 kids, and Miss Ballard before her had 2. So then why they went a little longer. Okay. Ms. Contreras, you're here. All right, I got it. Guys, please just bear with me. They're here, I just can't dismiss them. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrea Contreras. My child name is Jordan Contreras. Jordan had been enrolled at 2018 in the after-school program. In addition to my experience, Jordan had been new math skill and he's doing well in his grades. In my participation on IEP class with this program, it had been a lot of knowledge and mainly learning how to participate to to defend myself and ask the right question during the IEP meetings. When Jordan is working one-on-one with his tutor, he gets the work done and always follow directions to be successful forward. He's a confident person today. The tutors have been good abilities to teach my son. Thank you, Dr. Brewer, for this wonderful after-school program.
I'm listening. She's not here. Miss, do you wanna go, baby?
Hi, my name is Jarrell Worsley. My son is Bryson Worsley. We have been in the program for 8 years. My experience with the after-school program is I have learned very much in how to advocate for my child, not only advocating for him, I have learned how to work with him as well, myself, and how to respond to the teachers with the IEP, and learning with Dr. Brewer and the students as well. This is the best program that is around. I think every child and every parent should experience this program. Dr. Brewer has shed so much light into not only me, my son, and her students, that I feel that this program will forever be in my heart.
I'm glad it's in your heart. And I appreciate you guys indulging because they're here, and one thing about these parents, they don't drop their kids off, they have to stay. And I work with them while their kids are being worked by my pre-service students. So that's why we feel so confident in what they're doing. You see how bravely they're speaking? I didn't get anything out of them the first few years. So they have done remarkably well, so I'm pleased with them. So let's carry on. All right, not only do we have reflections here, I just want to share about the Yes I Can Awards. These are state awards by the North Carolina Council for Exceptional Children. These students have to compete with other special needs kids across the state. And I'm pleased to say, in 4 years, I've had 4 kids to be accepted and receive these state awards. This young man here is our first graduate from the program. He has graduated from high school, had a whole lot of problems, and now he works for Amazon. He went to college, Nash Community, and he was having problems with math here. He got over the hump, and he became a tutor at Nash Community, helping those students. And he's an artistic kid, doing a marvelous job. And he was here, and I'm only going to play just one. I think he's about 20 seconds of what he said. He came and spoke at our 5th year anniversary.
This team that is here stands for more than just learning. It's to empower each individual student to go forward in their future.
Okay, and basically what he said, he has been empowered, and we're pleased to say that. All right, the other young lady, he went in 2018-19, she won the following year.
Mentor.
Well, I'm gonna skip over him, so I went to it twice. He's not here, so he won't beat me up. Here another Yes I Can Awards. These 2 kids received it in the same year. We got Jordan 22-23, instead he's serving at part of the year now, along with Bryson, who is also here. The program has been involved in 2 publications. We have had great success among some of our kids who have gone through the program and have done well, being stakeholders and doing great things in the county. The kid at the top, he's a special ed major, and he was Teacher of the Year in Northampton County. These cute little pictures, aren't they nice? Yeah, all of these kids are saying, I'm a scientist. So what is a scientist? A scientist is, where am I? What's a scientist? What do you say, Hart? Oh, Pop, what is that? Oh, okay. Okay. The kids are here are saying name on his. He said he was Johnny somebody. I can't remember the name he put on his. But all of these are simply saying, I am a scientist. I do explore. I do analyze. Teachers, I'm telling you, you are scientists because you constantly analyzing, you're constantly evaluating, you are constantly interpreting things. How can I make things better? So it was pleased to see these kids draw these, and the adults. No offense, Dr. Also, we would like to say we were recently accredited back here in 2022, went up for reaccreditation, and even those individuals made a grand statement. I copied that, Dr. Spraggles, that's true. The impact of the award-winning after-school program is a signature strength of preparation. That says a lot. That deserves a hand. We're getting toward the end, guys. Transformative teaching, again, reiterating the topic for the evening. These individuals had no clue when they made references that particular night during the celebration that I was going to bring this up, and I haven't even shared this with them. So we're going to give this a play. The first one is Dr. Evan Duff.
All right, thank you for joining with us tonight. If you would just tell us who you are during this little questionnaire that we got.
Absolutely. So my name is Evan Duff, and I'm the president here at North Carolina Wesleyan University.
All right, and the question that we have for you is, what did you take away from the award-winning after-school appreciation ceremony that happened tonight?
So the ceremony tonight just demonstrated what profound impact the after-school program has on the community, on the students it serves, but more importantly, I think almost our student teachers get as much or more out of it as the students that they serve. And so Dr. Brewer has done an amazing job and has helped create an advocacy program not only for the students that we serve in the after-school program, but also their parents.
Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add on tonight?
And it's amazing to see our students in action and see what a positive impact they have on our community.
Okay. Again, talking about the impact.
Joe Lane, I'm the provost and senior vice president for academic affairs here at Wesleyan.
Yes, thank you. So the question that we have for you tonight is, what did you take away from the award-winning after-school ceremony that we held tonight?
I took away from an inspiration. I think it really points to the ways that Wesleyan and our education program in particular inspire people. When you really think about what it takes to become a great teacher, I think it starts with having that moment when you realize that the work you're doing with your students really is transformational, and to come to something like this and see these young people, it's changed their lives, and it reminds us all about the importance of the work that's being done here and the opportunities that our students have in learning to be educators and the difference they're going to make in the school system. Just truly an inspirational evening.
Thank you. Anything else that you would like to add about the ceremony tonight?
Well, I think we have to say thank you to our students who do the work in this program. Thank you to Dr. Brewer and Dr. Spragley for making sure that they have that opportunity, and to make sure that we're giving credit where it's due to the people who time after time after time go out, find the resources, put together the organization, and make these really transformational moments possible.
Use my word, transformation. Absolutely. Last but not least, my dear director.
My name is Kelvin Spragley. I am the Director of Teacher Education here at North Carolina Wesleyan.
Thank you for joining with us. So the question that I have for you tonight is, what did you take away from the award-winning after-school appreciation ceremony that was held tonight?
What I took away from the overall program tonight was that teaching matters. Teaching matters from the very beginning of a child's K-12 experience all the way through graduation, as we saw with one of the individuals who was here from the program's inception and who is doing great things in life. It's very clear that the skill sets that are learned in programs such as this, and specifically this program, not only help students in their efforts to graduate from high school, but also in the work world as well. And so my biggest takeaway was that the skill sets that are learned here transcend where students are and look more so at where they can be.
Thank you. Anything else that you would like to add about tonight?
Overall, I had a great time, and I look forward to the same thing next semester.
My compelling purpose, I shared it with you. I simply ask you, what is your compelling purpose? What is it that you want to do that is greater than delivering the academic content in your classroom? How can we impact an inclusive environment of all our students to excel beyond where they are? I really do appreciate it. I thank each and every one of you who came this evening, and are there any questions?
First of all, thank you very much. I've always wondered what service learning is. Being a historian, it's not something we can assign to our students. Go sit in the dark archive for 6 months. I just have a quick question. Did you find education, or did the education find you? No wrong answer.
Again, reflecting back on my mom,
Sort of both ways.
it was both ways. Because she embodied the richness of what it can bring.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer, for an excellent talk, and I know that you've inspired many students and many and their parents over a long time. We'll just say a few years. But I wondered how you discovered that you wanted to become a teacher. If there was a transformational moment for you that perhaps even with, I was especially curious if there was ever anything with a teacher that inspired you to go in this direction that you've dedicated your life to.
Well, I still have to put my mother in the center of all of that,
Sure.
because she has done remarkably well. But at the same time, being that I live in a neighborhood and in a community that provided opportunities for kids to work during the summer, I was placed at Cherry Hospital, and I was assigned to work with this great receptionist. So the point that I'm making is, you don't realize the impact that people may have on your life. And Gloria Bishop had a great impact on my life, the way she treated individuals with great love and great respect. And Cherry Hospital was a mentally ill institution, but she treated everybody with dignity and respect. And I was truly inspired by that. Hey, sweetie David, my former student.
Love you so much.
I love
Thank
you.
you. I'll never forget you.
Oh, all these juices.
I remember taking a class with you 2016 to about 2020. I still hear your voice in my ears. I still feel your heartbeat, and it's something I'll never forget. Still with you. That's why I'm here tonight. I definitely want to pay respect to you. Amazing. I'm currently a special ed teacher at Bunn High. I teach in the adaptive setting, and I feel like you touched on it. You mentioned those parents, more parental involvement is part of that key. So how do we? I have some reluctant parents that it's kind of they've given up hope. How do we kind of like rejuvenate them and instill in them to get more involved? You know, to answer the phone more and not to feel so hopeless. Like how do we do that?
You have to believe more
Believe more, yeah.
and work more.
Okay.
Don't ever put it on my parents. You believe more and you work more, and do everything you can to make that impact to the point that it becomes an inviting experience for them.
Yes.
Someone over there?
Sort of tangential to your talk, but with the students who are getting ready to go out into the field and start their first job, what would you say is the biggest apprehension about teaching now? What's the biggest fear or apprehension?
Well, there are quite a few. You've seen the news lately. You've seen the news lately. But the greatest fear that I put, one of the greatest anxieties, I would like to frame it that, one of the greatest anxieties is that there is a fear that they may not be able to meet the need of those students that's in front of them. And they have to overcome that and do everything they possibly can to meet that student. Because right then, you're the only student between that child and success. When you stand in front of that classroom, those students revere you. So you got to be the best of you and have to put on a show. You know, when I was a teacher, I mean, I was in Hollywood every day. I would stand on the table, I do great things to the point that other students want to be in my classroom. So the biggest fear, the biggest anxiety is wanting to make sure that I'm totally prepared to meet the demands, because the demands are really great in the community and at the school. And it's a challenge. Not only working with the parents, working with stakeholders, working with the system, working with the people in Raleigh, the whole 9 yards. It is challenging. This is the time that we need the best of the best to come forth and be great teachers, in spite of everything that seems to be around, in spite of everything that has been said. Because we know we pour our hearts out, we can do the best for our children. Even here at Westland, you pour your hearts out, and even then, you feel like, what else can I do? But never give up on our kids, because they need us. But sometimes we want to, but we have to give our best to them. Great questions. If you get ready to wrap up, I'd like to say one other thing. Because I had great people to come and support me this evening, I would like for all my family members, if they would stand. Well, first of all, let my son stand first. No, we got to eat now. My brothers and my sisters, would you please stand? And my sister in the wheelchair, you can just raise your hand. My aunt is here, and her husband, if you would be kind to stand. You see why I said put tables out there? Glad to see you, glad. And all of my extended nieces, great nieces, would y'all stand? Where's Fred? Oh, I didn't get the nephews. Okay, nephew, come on, baby. That's Travis, Dr. Travis. That's okay. He eats jealous of this one because he always thinks I only think about it. It's all right. We're going to be all right. All right. Again, parents, please stand. You and your kids. I got to keep it going, just like the preacher does in church. All right, David, you started. All my kids and former students, please stand. Grateful, and again, thank you all for coming out. Faculty, colleagues, I appreciate your attendance. Thank you for indulging me and embracing me on this wonderful evening. Thank
I think it's probably time for us to stand one more time in honor of our 2023 Jefferson Pilot.
Wait a minute, I forgot somebody. He has become, you know, Dr. Lane, I kept calling your name, but I forgot my president. Where's my president? There's my president.
It is a night of stand and we are. The sun may have gone down outside while we've been in here, but we really are bathed in the golden light here at North Carolina Wesleyan this evening. It's customary at this point in the evening, as I understand it, since this is my first, that all of our faculty colleagues who have been honored as the Jefferson Pilot Professor would please stand and be recognized.
It's my honor to introduce the 2023-2024 Jefferson Pilot Professor. This faculty member is actively engaged in scholarship and all areas of the Wesleyan community. She has published numerous scholarly articles, 2 book chapters, and participated in many presentations at professional conferences around the country. She has served as the faculty council chair and has served on many faculty and college-wide committees during her years of service here at the university. She has been active with the Exercise Science Club, the Health Promotion Lunch and Learn series, and as a well-regarded instructor, Dr. Shannon Crowley has taught in health promotion as well as exercise science and often collaborates with students in her research activities. Dr. Crowley is a current recipient of the Frank Smith Wilkinson Lectureship Award and the past recipient of the Fritz James Morrison Smith Jr. Faculty Development Award, Garner Faculty Leadership Award, the Malden Professional Development Award, and finally, Dr. Crowley recently developed and launched the Masters of Public Health program with a concentration in physical activity and health. Please give a hand to Dr. Shannon Crowley, our 2023. So I think Dr. Brewer said it best, it's time to eat. So we have a great reception for you just in our lobby here. So again, thank you so much for your attendance. Thank you for being here for such a great evening of presentation. And let's go eat.